Over the past 2 weeks, the women of America have been forced to witness not only an adjudicated sexual abuser be elected president, but then to see him offer some of the highest positions in government to men who have faced accusations of their own. As the New York Times points out, Trump has selected a defense secretary, an attorney general, a secretary of health and human services, and an efficiency czar, all of whom have been accused of variations of sexual misconduct and, like the president-elect, deny them. This has only added to the pain and fear that a lot of women have already been feeling in the aftermath of the election, on top of facing an onslaught of online abuse and harassment, with phrases like, "Your body, my choice," and "Get back to the kitchen" surging across social media. And with so much still unknown, you probably have a lot of questions about what a second Trump administration will mean for women, what it will mean for access to basic reproductive care, to birth control, IVF, even no-fault divorce, and how to best protect yourselves through all of it. Well, on this show, we want to provide you with the best possible information so that you are prepared to navigate whatever comes your way. And to help us do that, joining me now is Maya Wiley, president of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. My good friend, thank you so much for being here. So let's just go through these in some sort of order. I think the first question a lot of people are asking is, should women right now be, number one, deleting that health app that tracks your periods and stockpiling things like Plan B and even birth control pills and maybe getting an IUD in advance of the Trump administration coming into power?
Well, I think one thing, Joy, that all women should recognize is it depends on what state you're in, first of all. I mean, we have roughly half the states of this country working and expanding protections for things like reproductive health and freedom. And then we have the states that are working very hard, not just to take them away and have taken them away, but also even to consider ways to criminalize not just reproductive health, but even whether you get to potentially help other people get the reproductive health care they need. So I think it's really important for women to look at where they are and what their laws and protections are and make those choices for themselves. But certainly, to your point, we have so many women and girls, remember, it's also young people, who are in states for which it will matter tremendously if the Trump administration, incoming administration, does what Project 2025 suggests it does, and we have every reason to believe it will, which is use the power of the executive branch to say, we don't care if it's safe, we don't care if it's tested, we don't care what the science says, we don't care that over half of women who have abortions use this medically proven safe pill to help them control their reproductive health and futures. We're going to say it's an obscenity to mail it to other states. And so for women in those places, I think it's incredibly important, and a lot of women already are, figuring out how to get access to it and stockpile it. But I think we also have to remember that for all the women who are in states that do not have this fear, and there are many, we have to consider ways in which we are providing support networks for those women who do.
But what are the risks of, the administration not only enforcing the Comstock Act, which you just described, basically making mifepristone illegal to mail, but also start enforcing things like allowing prosecution state to state. So if you're in Texas and you go to New Mexico to get abortion services, when you return home to Texas, you get prosecuted. What is the risk that women could, even if they live in a blue state that's protecting them, still wind up prosecuted for helping a woman get an abortion?
Yeah, like this is a place, Joy, where we just can't stop fighting, and women aren't, and all our allies are. But here's the thing, you've gone straight to the heart of what's at stake here with weaponizing government against our people and on fundamental rights. Because right now, in the Biden administration, for instance, the Department of Justice said when, we have 2 states that have passed laws that say, oh, well, we're going to call it a crime if you help a minor cross the border to get an abortion without the consent of the parents. Now, they're trying very hard in that instance to try to skirt around the fact that we have a lot of recognition in our case law that you can't criminalize people crossing borders to do something they have a legal right to do. In this case, they're being cute, but the Department of Justice stood up and said, oh, no, 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 no. We, as the United States government, believe that is wrong and unconstitutional. We're going to get involved. So imagine now you've got whoever Donald Trump ends up with leading the Department of Justice, which will be someone who will be a yes person to anything that Donald Trump wants. And this is where it goes. You can imagine the federal government using its weight and its resources to support the criminalization of people and women. And that is devastating.
There were two other quick questions. Number one, what is the risk that Clarence Thomas will follow through on what he said he would like to do, which is to also go after the Supreme Court ruling that made birth control legal? In other words, returning that to the states so that some states could actually have birth control be illegal. And what do you believe is the risk that no-fault divorce will also go away as a legal option for women?
Look, I think what we can expect is all the forces that are trying to impose religious belief on the bodies of women and girls to come hard for our rights. But I think here's the thing. Whether or not we let them is the question. And there's so many of us who are fighting to say, no, you can't, no, you won't. And remember, states matter here, because right now we have a lot of states protecting rights. We need those states to continue not just to aggressively protect women in those states, but we need women who are in those states to be protecting the almost half of women who are Latina, for example, or Black, who are in states that do not. And remember, it's also coming for health care access, cutting Medicaid. This is also about whether you get basic health care. So I just think if they keep going for these fundamental rights, these basic things we've all come to expect, things that some of the people who voted for this incoming administration don't believe is going to happen, we're going to have not just a world of hurt, we're going to have a world of anger, and we're going to act.